Broadcasting live across the southern plains from the tornado bunker in the McRoof World Headquarters, the McRoof Radio Network brings you home repair McRoof style. I'm Rick Allen Lippert here with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum.
Hey, Mr. Rick.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Retro Radio Randy is the wizard on the other side of the curtain.
And good morning to all the ships at sea.
Act one of the show, we'll start with our trivia question and the tool of the week. I haven't put it on the Facebook page yet, but I will. And as always, we're taking your home repair questions. That number is 405-656-5868. In Act 2 of the show today, we'll have our What Were They Thinking segment. Scott, the title of this week's horror story?
Myrtle, your underlayment isn't showing.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw a Dodgum shingle over it.
Oh, my goodness. I can't wait to hear about that one.
Yeah, you'll hear about it.
Then in Act 3, we'll have our After the Storm tip, and we'll wrap up with some very wise words from a early 20th century Bengali polymath. You'll have to stick around to see to hear what I mean about that.
Now we're reaching for our dictionaries now to figure out what that means. So.
And here's a hint: he was not a mathematician.
There you go.
He was just about everything else, but not a mathematician. And coming back from breaks, we'll have some obscure historical trivia. And man, I have the most obscure Beatles historical trivia for you today. You just
Really?
wait. This
Okay.
is so obscure. You'll question my sanity once again. The McRoof Radio Network includes KOKC in Oklahoma City and KALV in Alva. You can also hear us on the iHeart Radio app. You can search for KOKC, and we're live streaming the show on the Home Repair McRoof Style YouTube channel. You can subscribe to us while you're there, and then you'll get an email that lets you know that we're on the air.
Absolutely.
And wherever you are, you can call us at 405-656-5868. And I also need to tell you that S&CM LLC is doing business as McRoof.us, legally operating under Oklahoma registration number 80000002. And the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. So good morning to you, Scott.
Good morning, sir. Hey, Randy, I need to ask you before we get to the trivia question, has Texas scored yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
And for those of you who may be listening and have even the slightest interest, today is one of Oklahoma's high holy days. This is when the boys in crimson and cream go down to Red River rivalry land and play the University of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And given how they've been playing lately, this will be an interesting game.
Always is.
And we do have our man in the press box monitoring the game, and we hope to hear some highlight moments before the end of the show.
There you go. There you go.
All right, let's get to the trivia question.
All right, so hopefully we've got some listeners out there who are going to answer this today. We've been talking about this a lot
Yes, we
recently.
have.
What key component of a certainteed integrity roof system, and as an aside, of almost any manufacturer's system-built roof, was recently eliminated from Oklahoma City's code requirements? And I'll make this a multiple choice. We'll give you some choices. A is drip edge, B, starter shingles, C, ventilation, D, ice and water. So give us the answer to the trivia question. We'll get you a book out to you, and we'll enjoy you playing the game for us.
Okay, so if you think you know the answer to that, give us a call, 405-656-5868. We're looking for the key component that is no longer required by Oklahoma City. That's part of the certainteed integrity roof system or any manufacturer's system. The key component that was recently eliminated from the Oklahoma City code.
There
All
you
right.
go. There you go.
The tool of the week. This you sent this to me, and golly, it looks like a good one.
Well, it is, and the reason I picked that particular brand is, people who are in the the blue-collar world know the name Carhartt.
Carhartt.
And they understand that in terms of their work gloves and their jackets and all that kind
Right.
of thing, and very, very high-quality products.
So this is a tool bag, a 14-inch tool bag. The brown color is only $48 on Amazon. If you want the black, that's closer to 60.
Okay.
But the brown one looks perfectly fine to me. It looks like a darn good tool bag.
Yeah, it's very sturdy, and I thought that this time of year, a lot of folks are heading to the camp to
Right.
enjoy the falls. A lot of
Yeah.
folks are heading to the woods. People are getting in their cars to go travel for the holidays,
Right.
things like that. This is just a great tool for you to put your tools in and
That's
throw
right.
them in the old pick 'em up truck or the car and go do what you want to do.
Yeah. All right. So I'll put that on the Facebook page here after the show, and you'll be able to see. But it's on Amazon, and the Carhartt brand. It has 2 T's, Carhartt with 2 T's. Legacy tool bag, 14-inch, and the brown is only $48. The black cost you more than that. All right. Once again, our trivia question: we're looking for the key component that was recently eliminated from the Oklahoma City Building Code. This is the key component of the Certainteed Integrity Roof System, or any manufacturer's system. Is it A, drip edge, B, starter shingles, C, ventilation, or D, ice and water? All right, Scott,
Yes, sir.
how was your week?
Oh, man, we had a great week around here. We had a busy, busy week. We had some really, really interesting things going on. I think I've told you that Scotty has, for about the last year and a half or 2 years, really been pouring himself into the commercial realm.
Okay.
And establishing relationships and really learning that side of the business. From a technical standpoint, we talked about he got his Hague Engineering Commercial
Yeah.
designation, that kind of thing. So working on that, and this past week, some things kind of started falling into place.
Oh, good.
And actually, he got a contract for the largest commercial project that we will ever have done.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's super, super exciting because it is a first building coming out of the ground on a multi-building development.
Oh, nice.
So it's really, really cool, and what's cool about it is the relationships that he's forming with people.
Good.
The way that he nurtures those and takes care of people, and they really appreciate that. So we're super excited. A lot of work for us to do.
Right.
We've got contracts. I mean, their contract is 45 or 50 pages long, so
Yeah.
we have to attorney reviews and
Sure,
edits and
right,
things
yeah.
like that. A lot of things that have to be done in terms of our credentials being up to snuff and
Right.
meeting everything, dotting the i's, crossing the t's, meeting everything that they require on a project like that. But we're just taking them one at a time and knocking down the little pins that stand in front of us.
Sure.
And so that's super, super exciting.
So without getting into the specifics that
Right.
I understand
Right.
you don't need to really reveal, but
Right.
is this like an industrial park kind of thing?
This is actually multi-use development,
Okay.
retail.
Okay.
So you're going to have, if you go to a corner and you look at the
Right.
big anchor stores,
Sure.
and then you look at everything else that's out around it,
Right.
that's what it's going to be like.
Oh, how
So,
wonderful.
Yeah,
And
super, super
Is that
exciting.
in the Metro OKC
It
area?
is. Yes, it is.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Good.
Sure is.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and so there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on around that this week, meetings and things like that, kind of working through those details. We have some intensive trainings and things that have been set up that will happen in November. The project will, is coming out of the ground now, be ready for us probably late winter,
Right.
early spring, something like that. So really excited there. We've got a big training set up with Trevor this next Friday.
This is Trevor Thompson from Certainteed.
From Certainteed. We have one of our subcontractors has a large crew that their credentials with Certainteed have have or are aging out.
Okay.
We had talked about how you have to renew your credentials and you have to keep up to speed. You know, just
Exactly,
because you
yeah.
knew something one time doesn't mean that's still the way we do it today.
Well, technology and processes change.
That's right. So, you know, they'll be back in. That crew will be back in next Friday. And then we've got we've got 2 other crews that are going to join in. We'll probably have 30 people doing a Spanish training next Friday here in our warehouse.
Hey,
So-
we have our friend Ben on the line. Hello, Ben. Are you taking a shot at the trivia?
I sure am, guys. I need to improve my batting average. I've been missing a few swings here lately.
Well, that's some pretty low-hanging fruit for Ben.
All right.
Yeah,
so let
well, I
me.
was just telling Randy that, you know, I was involved in trying to prevent what was done.
So
And to no avail, unfortunately,
so
so
let me-
you know what I'm going to answer.
let me bring some new listeners who may have just joined us up to speed. Our trivia question is: what key component of the Certainteed Integrity Roof System or any manufacturer system was recently eliminated from Oklahoma City's building code requirements? Is it drip edge, starter shingles, ventilation, or ice and water?
Well, are you ready?
Yes.
We're ready.
Ice and water.
Yes, sir. Ding, ding, ding.
I thought Randy had his finger on the buzzer in there.
I was poised.
Buzzer at the
Well, it
ready.
happens often enough, but, you know. Hey, the pro players only hit about 250, so, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
That's good.
Well,
That's good.
Yeah, you'll hear more about us talking about this as time goes on, Ben.
Well, let me tell you, Ben. Hang on there for a minute. So,
Sure.
out of the conversations, here's here's a quote from one of the speakers during the city council hearings. Every industry trade group that is involved in building a home could come up and say, "Hey, we could do something that's a little bit better, and it's only going to cost $1,000." Okay. Think what that would do to a market that's already suffering an affordability crisis in our community. The industry, meaning the home building industry, is all about building durable, safe homes, but we're not about adding layer upon layer of things onto our houses that unnecessarily drive up the cost of housing in Oklahoma City. So,
and with all of that, I can agree to.
in a nutshell, that was the position that ultimately the City Council of Oklahoma City accepted.
Right. But it's that unnecessarily. That's the word that I have an issue with.
And look who decided that that was unnecessary. And we're going to talk some more after a while. When we get to Myrtle and when we get to some of the stuff, in my weekend review, we've got some things that I really want to talk about this particular aspect.
Okay.
So I think you're bumping up pretty close. But
Oh,
anyway.
we are. Hey, Ben, we got to take a break. I want to thank you for calling and winning for a change.
And
Yeah, well, that's 2 in a row, guys.
hey, hang around. We've got some really interesting wisdom today. It's not my dad's.
Oh, I'm not tuning you guys out. I try to catch your program every Saturday, but I missed last week.
My dad would have bought into this. My dad would have bought into this, though. So hang around for the wisdom.
Sure.
And maybe this comes from a book that I'm reading right now. Maybe I'll send you that book, Ben, okay?
Sounds like a winner.
All right, buddy.
I'll let you surprise me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And with that, we'll take our first break. We'll be back with Act 2 in just a few moments. I want to remind you, you're listening to Home Repair McRoof Style. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. He's restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum. We are taking your home repair questions live on the radio at 405-656-5868. This is the McRoof Radio Network.
Well, folks, if you walked out the door early this morning, I bet you turned the seat warmer or the heater on
It was
in
chilly.
your car this morning. Now, you may not have flipped the switch on that thermostat yet.
Not yet.
But now you know the time is a-coming. So if you haven't had that heating system checked out, you need to get that done. Folks, Brad's Heating and Air Conditioning has been serving the greater metro for almost 40 years. They install and service all brands of heating and air conditioning equipment. They're certified American Standard dealers. You need to get them out to do that carbon monoxide check, make sure there's not any kinds of leaks or anything that's wrong with your heating unit. Make sure that you're going to be able to flip that switch on that thermostat and everything's going to purr along just the way you want it to. Give Brad a call at 405-799-7823, 405-799-7823, or visit online at bradsheatandair.com. Tell them McRoof sent you.
I have folks tell me all the time that they can't find anybody out there to inspect their roof or to just fix a leak. You started Roof RX to remedy that issue, didn't you?
Well, I did. Roofers are in the business to replace roofs. They're not in the business to inspect, repair, or maintain them.
So what's so different about Roof RX then?
Well, Roof RX is a standalone company totally separate from McRoof. The inspectors are trained professionals armed with knowledge and technology. They are not roofing salespeople. Our repairs are guaranteed for life, and we offer a money-back guarantee.
Wow, that sounds great, but I'll bet you're booked up for months out.
No, sir, we're generally no more than a week or so out, and of course we get on emergencies a whole lot faster than that. Get on our list by calling Carly at 405-877-ROOF or online at roof-rx.com.
Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army and was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy was the pilot of a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy. November 11, 1943, Homer and his crew, along with 31 other bombers, flew a mission to destroy a ball bearing plant in occupied France. On the return trip, a mechanical failure caused the plane to drop out of formation, leaving the Yankee Doodle Dandy vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109 shot the plane down near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board. The others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 21 years of service with numerous awards and citations, not to mention the Purple Heart. Homer Stacy. Homer Stacy McCullum. Scott McCullum's dad. Scott McCullum is McRoof. McRoof is owned and operated by the McCullum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to improve or repair your property, call 855-766-3405. Ask for a no-cost roof assessment and home inspection. That's McRoof, 855-766-3405. That's McRoof.
And Home Repair McRoof Style back on the air for Act 2 of today's show. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum. Retro Radio Randy is on the other side of the curtain. Jerry is holding on the phone. We'll get to you in just a moment, Jerry. But I wanted to let everybody know that on this date in 1633, I like to do American history in the first break or the second break, or I don't know. Coming back from the first break, I like to do American history. 1633 on this date, the Massachusetts Bay Colony formed its first government. And then 1871, you remember hearing about Mrs. O'Leary's cow? Mm-hmm. Well, the Great
Kicked
Chicago...
over the lantern.
Yeah, the Great Chicago Fire killed an estimated 300 people, destroyed over 4 square miles of buildings in 1873 on this date. And then in 1945, the microwave oven was patented by a U.S. inventor named Percy Spencer. I'm surprised it's not called the Spencer oven, but microwave. And then, not American history, but on this date in 1964, Ringo Starr passed his driving test.
Boy, I tell you what. Talk about obscure.
couldn't believe that was even listed on the trivia page.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
And the song Act Naturally was actually from 1965. It's on the Help album. So that was the closest we could come to
I got
the time period. Okay, let's go to the phones and talk to Jerry. Hello, Jerry.
How you doing, guys? It's a good morning, I would think.
We're doing great, buddy.
Good to
How
hear
are
from you.
Yeah, it's a busy month for me, of course, as you gentlemen probably would recall.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering at the zoo again for Haunt the Zoo, as I always do every year.
Oh, that's
And
great. Thank you for your service.
And this is the first weekend of that, and we, of course, want maximum participation, see the kiddos out to participate and enjoy the zoo as much as possible.
Well, all right. Do you have a home repair question for us today?
Well, I want to reiterate to the people, I was looking at my fine roof, the metal one that it is, and how we want to get the leaves and twigs and branches off of it, of course, to be as least problematic as the season is now going to sneak towards the cold, and we don't want to be on our roofs when it's icy and slippery.
Yeah, so now's the time of year to get the when we do our before the storm, we're going to talk about that. This is the time of year to get that winter maintenance check, get everything taken care of, and make sure that we are in good shape. You know, last year. Was it last year that we had the October-November ice storm? Or when?
It was October of 21, yeah.
Okay, so, you know, it could happen at any point in time now. We need to get that roof in good shape, get it inspected, and make sure that everything's the way we want it to be. And, yeah, in your case, on a metal roof, absolutely. Those things get a little bit of dew on them, not to mention getting a little bit of frost on there. And, you know, even the dust that accumulates on a metal roof.
Oh, yeah.
You have a metal roof and say you're out in the wheat field or you're out,
Sure.
you know, by a gravel road or something.
Right.
The dust that's on those metal roofs makes them extremely slippery.
I never would have thought of that.
So, Jerry, be careful up there, buddy.
Yeah, certainly will be. And, of course, if you need a little help on getting that maintenance stopped, who can we check with?
Oh, that might be Roof RX that you're talking about, and that's at 405-877-7663. I love when my clients and my customers do my commercials for me. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you, buddy. Stay safe.
Glad to help.
Have a
Take care,
good
gentlemen.
day, buddy.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Jerry, thanks for calling. All right,
He's
so we've heard
buddy.
from both Ben and Jerry today. So
Ben and Jerry,
so
and
feel
is
like
the ice
eating
cream truck outside. So,
So-
hey, I haven't heard much hooping and hollering in there.
let's go to our men in the press box and see if anyone did the team even come out of the locker room?
They did come out of the locker room, and in fact, they traded possessions, but then Texas is driving, and in fact, just drove for the first score of the game. So Texas is up 7-0, late first quarter.
Okay. All right.
So Scott,
Yeah.
you mentioned adjusters this past
Yeah.
week.
You know, we talk about, and we don't always say great things about adjusters. You know, we try to be honest about it, and we say that there's adjusters of all kinds
Sure.
out there. Okay.
Just like everybody.
And there are absolutely great adjusters out there. We had an experience this week, two experiences, kind of juxtapose. I have one where after a year and a half, okay, did you hear me?
Right.
A year and a half, I have one very, very, very large claim that after a year and a half has accepted and published claim summary that says per McRoof estimate.
Wow. This
year-
is the insurance company accepted this.
A year and a half,
Good.
okay?
Nice.
Now, that's frustrating in a lot of ways, okay, that it takes us a year and a half to work through that.
Right.
And that there's a whole lot of time where there's not
Oh,
much.
well, you did the work a year and a half ago.
No.
Oh.
No. We've been working a year and a half to get the claim summary correct.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, understood.
Because when you're talking about huge dollar differences, that's not something that we can assume that we're going to get a resolution that's satisfactory to us. So we can't do the work.
Right.
We have to wait.
Right. Okay.
So now we're ready to initiate on that.
So that was good but frustrating.
Okay. And then we had another situation where we had an adjuster appointment on Monday, went out, and it just happened that at the very time we were there for the adjuster appointment, the client was having his heating and air conditioning system replaced.
Okay.
And the contractors were there, and they were working, and in fact, they had already cut loose, removed, and taken the condensing unit and put it in the back of their truck.
Right. Okay.
This adjuster said, whoa, 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 wait a minute, guys, time out. He says, let me go look at that. And he walks over there, and he looks in the back of the van or the back of the truck.
Right.
And he takes all of his pictures of the hail damage in that condensing unit.
Hail damage.
Yeah, where you have.
Sure.
And because that unit was actually being replaced, okay, and he was there at the time to see it, at all his photographs of the hail damage on that unit, he was able to include, I don't know if it was 100% of it, but he included some significant amount of money on the claim for the client.
Wow.
For the replacement of that condensing
Wow.
unit. Okay? Now that's going the extra mile in terms of consideration to the insured. And I will just tell you, a lot of people know, I will tell you the company it is, because we have a lot of folks here who are eligible to use this company.
Right.
It's USAA, and I will tell you that on a consistent basis, day in and day out, the most equitable, the claim adjustments and the settlements are the closest to what I call indemnifying an insured of any company operating in the state.
Wow.
And I just want to say kudos to this particular adjuster who took it upon himself to, that unit would have been gone in about 5 or 10 more minutes.
Right.
And he said, oh, no, don't haul that off. Wait a minute, I'm not done with it. Okay? So anyway, just a shout out to them. So.
I have a quick adjuster.
Sure.
I don't know if it's an adjuster story, but it's certainly a roof story.
Well, you've had great adjuster experiences.
Yes, I have.
And you've had miserable adjuster experiences.
Well, this is not personal.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
personal to me. It's personal to son-in-law and daughter. They had a house for sale, and they bought it thinking they were going to remodel it and live in it for a few years and then sell it. They ended up finding a house that fit their needs better, so they never really moved into this house. They remodeled the house and then put it up for sale.
Gotcha.
Well, they found a buyer after a long time, and the buyer had somebody, just an inspector, just the home inspection, say that the roof needed to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that old of a roof. And so when my daughter says that, I told her, check to see if that inspector is Hague certified to say that roof needs to be replaced. Well, long story short, they're just going to do some cosmetic improvements on the roof because the inspector wasn't Hague certified. And just the fact that my daughter and her husband knew to say that kind of put everyone on notice, like, oh, we can't snow these people.
There you go.
We can't pull the wool over their eyes.
What's that? Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
And I got to tell you something. We have a situation right now that we have a person who has contacted our companies, who has had a couple of roofing contractors tell her that she needs a new roof.
Right.
Okay. And she's had an insurance company tell her that she does not.
Right.
And she doesn't want, at least not at this time, she's not interested in McRoof replacing her roof. She's interested in our credentials, writing the report, and providing the documentation to the insurance company that would support, one of the positions.
Right.
And I told her, I said, hey, That is a detailed report. That's what RoofRx does.
Right.
I said, in the situation where we are not going to be your contractor, that is a $500 inspection. It's going to have probably 150 or 200 photographs. It's going to have a narrative, and it's going to have a conclusion. And that conclusion is not necessarily going to agree that you need to have a new roof.
Right.
We're going to say what it is.
Right.
And she kind of went back and forth. It's, I don't know. And we thought it was, and then she called us back. And said, yes, absolutely, that's what I want. And so we did the inspection yesterday.
Good.
So anyway, and that's what people need to do, because that now, when we do that report and it's signed with a Hague residential inspector credential and license number,
Right.
and that goes to the insurance company,
Right.
they're not going to be as likely to tell you that your inspector doesn't know what he's talking about.
Exactly. And with that, we'll go get scary in our What Were They Thinking segment. Oh, I just gave it away. We call this... Oh, what was he thinking? Today's scary story, Myrtle, your underlayment isn't showing. Just throw a dadgum shingle over it. All right, Scott, tell me what this means.
I'm going to tell you what it means, and this is back to, we started with the trivia question about the ice and water. Okay, we've talked a little bit about my week in review. We didn't really get into the builder, quote-unquote, builder roof that we replaced this week.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do the horror story first.
Okay.
Because it all ties together. So here's the deal, guys. We went out to replace a very large roof in northwest Oklahoma City. Actually northwest Edmond, okay, way up north on May. Large roof that was it was a certainteed warranty claim.
Okay. All right.
So Certainteed was paying McRoof to replace this roof for this client.
Okay.
And we went out. This is about a 6 or 7 year old home. The client has been our client for the last couple of years, in that he had called us about leaks and problems and things that were persistent in his roof, blow-off shingles, different things like that.
Okay.
We have done everything we could over the last couple of years just to keep things going, and then it got to a point where it was obvious to me that, Certainty, this roof needs to be replaced.
Okay.
And Trevor and I worked real hard, and ultimately that's what happened. So we go out Wednesday, and we're replacing this roof, and we start tearing off, and I start getting photographs of things that look very, very, very strange to me. Okay.
Like what?
Well, the first one I pointed out to the guys, we've got an area that's actually tarped up between a fireplace, a second-story wall, and a dormer on the back side of the house.
Okay.
And that's where our leak has been. Okay, and it's been a consistent, persistent thing that we have not been able. We have not been able to get to the bottom line on it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because we never wanted to tear everything off because we were working on this warranty claim.
Right.
Well, we get to that area and we tear this off, and I get a picture of step flashing, that the step flashing has actually got a puncture hole about the size of a nickel.
Wow.
In the step flashing. Now, what kind of tool, I can't even figure out how in the world you could have done that, at a roof sidewall intersection like
Right,
that and
yeah.
not known that you had done it. Okay. Well, let me tell you this. The missing ingredient on that sidewall, even though the flashing had a hole in it, if that flashing had a hole in it and there had been ice and water underneath the flashing and up the vertical wall,
Right.
they still would have had a layer of protection. okay,
Exactly.
if they didn't puncture all the way through that, obviously.
right.
Okay. So one is, and we talk about this all the time, that the details, the flashing details that builders, roofers create are not done properly. Okay. This flashing did not have ice and water. The exposure on the flashing was too large. In other words, if you've got a piece of flashing that's 6 inches long, it should lap over the next piece at least 2 inches, okay?
Right.
Those kinds of things. Well, these step flashings barely lapped over the next flashing, okay? And then you put a hole in there, and then every time you get a blowing rain, you got water in the pantry.
Right.
So anyway, so that's taken care of. So the next thing I get a picture of is I get a picture of a section of the roof that there's no underlayment on. We've torn the shingles off. The underlayment stops 2 or 3 feet below the ridge, and they just kept on shingling.
Oh, no.
Kept on shingling. No underlayment, okay?
And the underlayment is what really keeps the water out.
Well, a roof is a series of redundancies, okay?
Right.
You've got the shingle, you've got the underlayment, you've got the flashings, you've got the ice and water, you've got the drip edge, you've got everything
Sure.
put together the way it's supposed to be to get the water someplace you don't want it.
Right.
Keep the water from going someplace you don't want it, which is in your house. So anyway, then the third picture I get a picture of a valley. This house has metal valleys on it.
Okay.
And they're starting to pick up the metal valleys to remove them.
Mm-hmm.
I get a picture of a metal valley that not only does it not have ice and water under it, it doesn't even have underlayment under it. They literally nailed the metal valley to the naked deck.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay? Now, that's what a builder's roof in this particular case ended up being. Now, I'm not going to say they're all that way.
Right.
Ventilation was not correct on the roof. That was another issue. I will tell you that your builder can build you a better roof, but back to the comments from the code council, from the city council, if you don't tell them that you know that they can build you a better roof, and if you don't insist on them including the things that we talk about on this show and giving you a roof system installed by a credentialed contractor, I don't care what manufacturer it is. I mean, if I do it, it's going to be certainteed. But they need to give you a roof system with all the component parts from that manufacturer installed by a credentialed contractor that is eligible for what are called enhanced warranties by that manufacturer. Not the 1-year warranty that comes with the builder's house.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And if you don't tell them that that's what you want, if you don't tell them that you're willing to look at the cost of impact-resistant shingles and some of the things that you can, in fact, do better, and understand that the roof system is the number one thing keeping Mother Nature out of your house, okay? You need to spend a little bit of money on your roof and not just take what the builder gives you that he intends to last through his 1-year warranty.
Okay. And with that, we'll take our second break. We'll be back with Act 3 of today's show, Home Repair McRoof Style. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. He's restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum, and as you can tell, he knows his stuff. Retro Radio Randy taking your calls to 405-656-5868. Some more Beatles trivia when we return. This is the McRoof Radio Network.
Folks, the Daylight Doctor is my premier Solitube dealership. Give us a call at 405-977-5483. That's 405-977-5483. Or go online to okcskylights.com. Our premier Solitube dealership can handle any of your skylight needs, replacement or new skylights. We can install our tremendous Solitube tubular skylights in any of the dark places in your home. And we can address any of your ventilation needs, whether it's your whole house, your hot attic, or a hot, steamy garage. We can take care of that as well. The products are all guaranteed by Solitube International for 10 years. Workmanship is guaranteed by us for life of your home or you. And these are things that you really want to take advantage of. There's an energy tax credit that now has been extended to be 30% on a lot of our products. Give us a call, The wintertime is coming. The days are going to get a little bit darker, a little bit drearier. Let's take care of those dark spaces in your home, that hallway, that bathroom, maybe utility room or a closet, and let's give you that nice bright light. Now, Rick, I've had people tell me there's such a difference in the new Solitube lights and the 20 or 30-year-old versions.
Like I have.
That we've installed in people's houses where they already have existing skylights, Solitubes. They're having us come back and replace the others with the new Solitubes.
Well, feel free to come on and do that.
Well, okay, so Daylight Doctor, folks, 405-977-5483 or OKCSkylights.com.
Honoring America's Warriors is an Oklahoma City-based nonprofit that provides military honors and ceremonies, service dogs for disabled veterans, and multiple activities and events for the veteran and their family. When Honoring America's Warriors was established, our first sponsor and supporter was McRoof. Now, years later, McRoof and the McCullum family continue to provide financial support to Honoring America's Warriors' important programs. To learn more about our mission, go to honoringamericaswarriors.org. Go to honoringamericaswarriors.org today.
I'm Dustin Holtz, and I am McRoof. We're looking for the best talent in the roofing and restoration industries to join our team of solutions specialists. Hear what our customers have to say. Here's Johnny.
They were such pleasant young men, set my mind at ease. So thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Now here's John.
My hat's off to McRoof for making that happen when nobody else would touch it. You really made a difference in our lives.
And then Dean.
You really know your roofing business and you do quality work. But what sets you apart from other roofers is the people. You treated us just like family.
Want to sell shingles? Go work for another roofer. Want to change people's lives by providing quality solutions? Come join our team. Email me at dustin.holt@mcroof.us. dustin.holt@mcroof.us.
I'm Scotty McCollum, and I am McRoof. The qualities that every McRoof team member possesses are attention to detail, integrity, and a commitment to be an expert in our field. The goal of every McRoof project is to restore a home or business to the fullest extent, and in the process, we try to create a relationship as well as lasting peace of mind. We're not happy if you're not happy.
Replacement done right. McRoof.us, 855-766-3405. And Home Repair McRoof Style back on the air for Act 3 of today's show. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. He's Restoration Specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum. We're, like I said, in Act 3 of today's show. On this date in 1927, Laurel and Hardy appeared for the first time together as a team in the silent short film, The Second 100 Years. And in keeping with the comedy duo theme, on this date in 1942, Abbott and Costello launched their weekly radio show. And of course, you've all heard of the Who's on First routine that Abbott and Costello did. Carpenter Square Theater recreated that in Retro Radio Randy's recording studio a year or so ago. And if you go to the Carpenter Square Theater YouTube channel and look for the Comedy Teams episode of our CST Live Online series, you'll see a really great recreation. But on this date in 1971, John Lennon released his mega hit single, Imagine. Oh my goodness, I can remember hearing this for the very first time and just stopping.
Imagine there's no heaven.
And just stopped and gawked at the radio. Anyway, on this date, 1971, John Lennon released Imagine.
Hey, Rick, I want to button things up kind of on the builder roofs. I took a little one-day sabbatical on Monday, and I wrote a few blogs, and this was even before we had done this roof replacement on Wednesday.
Okay.
So it was already on my mind,
Right.
okay, because we deal with this a lot. So I did write a blog about the builder roofs and how builders can do a better job if you will take ownership of it and drive them to that. And if anyone would like a copy of that, we're going to clean it up this week and get it published on the websites and get it out there. But right now, if somebody'd like a copy of it, if you'll just email me, scott@mcroof.us, or email info@mcroof.us and tell us you want that blog, we'll get it to you. I have another one coming probably this week. How green can you afford to be? And we talk a lot about green practices. We talk a lot about things that people don't even recognize are green practices that are easily within their reach. And then we get out into the realm of, you know, the Tesla solars and things like that, that everyone understands that those are high dollar investments.
Right.
But I have another blog coming. If you're interested in that, be happy to send it as well. How green can you afford to be? So
I don't know if we have enough time to really go into this, but the question that's been on my mind since this Oklahoma City Council ice and water building code requirement being dropped is, how would anyone know prior to this if ice and water was even being applied? I mean, you just described a horror situation where no underlayment, no, much less ice and water, was on this roof.
Well, when you say how would someone know, do you mean a consumer, or do you mean?
Yes. I mean, because does a roof need to be inspected by the city before the shingles go on?
Oh, that's a whole different.
That's why I said I'm not sure we have enough time.
That's someplace you're not going to be able to go. And I'll just tell you that it's from a practicality standpoint, from a resources standpoint, it's not going to happen. Okay. There is no way that cities could keep up with the inspections on a timely basis. When we tear someone's roof off, we're not stopping for anything.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And literally the few places like War Acres and a couple other places where you have to stop and get a decking inspection, I mean, I'll be sitting there, and if I'm waiting more than an hour or two, I'm on the phone saying, hey, I'm going to take pictures, and if they don't get over here, we're going on, okay? Because we're just not going to leave somebody open and exposed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the issue. The biggest benefit of cities issuing permits and having some type of an inspection protocol on roofing is at least the city has the ability to quote unquote do some underwriting on the contractors on the front end. Okay, make sure that they have their compliances with Construction Industries Board. Make sure that they have a current valid insurance in place. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I was very impressed with Kansas. You know, Wichita Metropolitan Building Authority. I mean, the tests that I took to install residential and commercial roofing in Kansas was one of the most difficult tests that I've ever taken in my life.
How about that?
Much more difficult than even the Oklahoma commercial test that I took here.
Wow.
So, you know, that's really where that comes from. But no, the cities aren't going to be able to. Here's the deal. I tell people all the time, if you're not there, okay, when a roof is being built, that's the reason we take hundreds of photographs, okay?
Right.
We have photographs of what? Number one, a clean deck. Always I can show you photographs of a clean deck.
Right.
Number two, I can show you photographs of all the decking that we repaired or replaced. Number three, I can show you the ice and water going on your roof. Number four, I can show you the drip edge going on your roof. Number five, I can show you the diamond deck going on your roof. Number six, I can show you the starter course. I can show you how we installed the shingles. And then I can show you the hip and ridge and accessories and the ventilation, okay? I have hundreds of photos. I can show you every flashing detail. If there's a wall coming out of your roof, I can show you what we did with it. If there's a chimney, I can show you what we did with it, okay? Every contractor doesn't do business that way.
Correct,
okay?
yeah.
And I think when people get to the point where they understand how expensive roofs have gotten, how high deductibles are getting, how limited insurance coverages are going to be in the future, they will get to a place where they ultimately decide that, you know, we need to do the best job on this roof that we can possibly do. We narrow down a universe of thousands of roofing contractors to a handful of roofing contractors. And we pick the person that has the greatest degree of education, knowledge, credentials, who has proven time and time again that they're going to handhold and serve their customers. And if anything ever goes wrong, they're going to be there to stand by and take care of it.
That's right.
That's what people are going to have to do.
Okay. Here's a sound that we just might hear in the coming week.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice? It was, oh man, I drove out to western Oklahoma yesterday, and it was a joy to drive in the rain.
Oh, I bet it was. Well,
so after the storm.
So Jerry kind of stole our thunder and talked about how, you know, now's the perfect time, and he's right. You know, the leaves are going to start falling, the little branches and things are going to be falling off when the wind blows, all that kind of stuff. Rick, with your flat roof situation, you know, you've got to keep that taken care of, keep the drains open, all that kind of thing. But any roof right now, if you've got a big steep roof, you think, oh, nothing stays on my roof. Yeah, I got to tell you, the valleys trap things.
Right.
There's organic material trapped behind your chimney. You know, up against your walls, things like that. So you've got to get all the organic off there. But now is the time to get somebody out there to do that inspection, create that baseline for you. You know, you might be thinking about changing insurance companies. You need to know what the condition of your roof is.
Mm-hmm.
You might be thinking about selling your house. You need to know what the condition of your roof is. If there are repairs that need to be done, get them documented, photographed, and done before you ever go to market.
Exactly.
If you need a replacement roof, get your insurance claim filed, get it done and taken care of before you ever go to market. That's the way to do it. So call Roof RX, get your inspection. If you need any repairs, we'll do the repairs for you at a very fair price. If you'd like to have a maintenance plan on your roof, I highly recommend it. Have somebody on your roof. If you have a flat roof, you should have somebody on your roof a minimum of twice a year. If you have a composition roof or a metal roof, you should have somebody on your roof at least once a year. I recommend twice a year. You know, do it, you know, in the spring, and then do it before the winter time.
Right.
When you have a maintenance plan with Roof RX, and you ultimately need to have your roof replaced, we will credit you back 50% of every dime you have ever spent with us on maintenance over the years towards your out-of-pocket expense on your new roof. So there's nobody out there in the marketplace that's offering that.
I have to tell everyone that S&CM LLC is doing business as McRoof.US, legally operating under Oklahoma registration number 80000002, and the registration applies to residential and commercial roofing. I also need to tell everybody that you can listen to us on the iHeartRadio app if you search for KOKC. You can watch us on the live stream on the YouTube channel. All of our past shows are there. And let's get some wise words from Bengali polymath Rubandranath Tagore.
Yeah, I hope you got that right. Now, this is a little deep, folks, so stay with us. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was duty. I worked, and behold, duty was joy.
There you go. This has been episode number 238 of Home Repair McRoof Style on the McRoof Radio Network. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. He's restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum.
Have a great week, everybody.
We'll be back next week. Thank you, Retro Radio Randy.
Yes, sir.
Everyone out there, Boomer Sooner.
Boomer.
Sooner?